I feel you on Halo 3, man. I think that was the pinnacle of Halo. I think as far as, the game itself, it's a huge package. There was nothing that could compare when you take your Forge and the multiplayer, all the modes within multiplayer, the campaign, and the campaign's 4-player co-op, and it's massive, massive game.
It was a fantastic game. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, yeah. So
I was kind of sad when they did H2A instead of H3A. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to see a Halo 3 anniversary, not a Halo 2 anniversary. And that's another thing about the new Halo's coming out. So I say like Halo Infinite's coming out, and that's going to be the Halo. But I think another one, which if they redid, could put it on the map a little bit, which is H2A, just because graphics alone. You know what I mean?
Yep. I'm gonna cover that one too. Let's get into it a little bit, because what I wanted to do was start by establishing to everyone that you are a Halo fan, and that's what I knew from the get go. Is, guys, Summit loves Halo, so whoever's going and you're bashing him on Twitter and stuff, like, okay, let's to start it off. Summit actually likes Halo, but something happened. You uninstalled the game. You said it sucks. It sucks huge. Male appendage. You said some stuff. My producer says I can't say swear. You can say whatever you want, but I'm
okay. Cool.
What happened? Yeah. What happened when you uninstalled it?
Honestly, people think that I just couldn't handle like the competitiveness of it, and it was just too hard for me. And it's just like, I get my ass kicked in games all the time. You know what I mean? As being a variety streamer on Twitch, it's like I don't just get to sit on a single game and spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours on it, right? Like a lot of people. So I'm used to getting my ass kicked when I come to new games. And it's like, but this was just different. It felt like it just felt like they were unwinnable battles. I couldn't put it any other way. It wasn't about me getting shot from certain angles. It wasn't about me not knowing angles. It wasn't about like Halo as the overall game in itself. It was about just the strictly, you guys, you are on one side of the room, and there's another guy on the other side of the room, and there's no obstacles, there's no flags, there's no anything. It's just two guys with battle rifles fighting, and I think that I just can't win against a controller consistent enough for me to really take it seriously to play it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If that makes sense.
Right. So remove all other elements of the game. Of course, those things are important. Your macro, positioning, strategy, whatever. Just the DMR 1v1, straight up, close range, mid range, mano a mano. It doesn't feel fair. And you're saying because of aim assist on controllers, right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it felt fair. I know other PC players that didn't think it felt fair. I know some controller players that also think it's not fair. And I'm 100% okay with it not being fair. I just don't want to compete or try to play at a level where it's just going to be annoying. You know what I mean? Like when I solo queue, I'm solo queuing at like level 40. So I play against pros a fuck ton. And they 5-shot the fuck ton out of you. You know what I mean? The F ton. Right. Sorry, I know you said I can.
You're good. Go for it, dude. And no, I mean, I see you 5 pros as well. Like, you get your moments, but ultimately, this argument, it's not like you're just kind of pulling out of thin air. You're not the only one who's saying this. So, first of all, aim assist. 99% of the community who follows this knows what aim assist is at this point, but we'll show a quick video up beside us here. You can see us with the video here. This is Hysteria just kind of waving the reticle back and forth, and you can see the reticle is being pulled by the game, a feature in the game called aim assist. It's going to help you hit your shot. So in Halo Reach, I don't know what it is, but pro players are agreeing with you on this. It feels like the aim assist in Halo Reach is stronger than it is in past Halo titles. And there's quotes of this on Twitter that we can take a look at as well. You've got Jimbo, who's a pro Halo player, who agreed with you. We can throw up Jimbo's quote. He says, "You're not wrong. He's diving straight into the deep end, playing against insanely skilled players. But with the way aim assist is, he has zero chance of catching that skill. It's not really an even playing field. So why continue playing on a handicap like that?" Not just Jimbo, but Hunter JJX has a similar tweet. The fact that you uninstalled while we were on a win streak says enough, my man. Even from a controller versus controller perspective, something needs to be done about aim assist. Perfect aim should be something that is sought after but never truly achieved. Everyone is a robot at the moment.
Listen, I can't really speak from like controller to controller. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't know if they have problems with it necessarily competing with each other. But I know that like some notable mouse and keyboard players like Giggs. Giggs is a very high-end, very high-level mouse and keyboard player, and even he will agree to at least an extent that there is a little bit of an advantage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It really seems like, the pros are saying that as well. It does feel stronger. I don't know if it's because of the way the game was designed. I know Ola had a comment on this. We can show Ola's tweet about this as well. Ola says that goes back to my aim assist comment. Reach was made with the idea that aim assist is for 30 frames. That's why it feels crazy on max frames. Halo Infinite will be made with max frames of PC at its core foundation, so we shall see.
Yeah.
So just kind of the fact that it's a game that was designed for 30 FPS, but now we're playing it on 144, 240, and it's just all of a sudden it feels a lot more powerful.
We have seen games like that, right? Like GTA is like the same way. It's like you race your car in GTA and your car goes faster if you have bigger frames. It's just so weird how shit works like that. But that's another reason why I was thinking like Halo Infinite is going to be the game, because it's like I don't expect them to change a 10-year-old game. I don't expect them to balance that. I'm not sitting here complaining every single day about Halo Reach. Now I can't play it. It's fine. I can play it. I can have a great time playing that game, and I think I can enjoy myself. I'm just a competitive player in nature. So when you lock out that part, according to me at least, it's like it takes so much value away from the game. But it's it can be that, and Halo Reach being from the ground up, knowing that it's controller and mouse and keyboard together, that I just feel like there's a potential for more balance there. You know what I mean?
Definitely. So, well, I see and agree with your side and your point here, and a lot of pros agree with that aim assist issue. I do think, of course, you got to be sympathetic to all sides here. So I know that there are valid points from the community as well. We're not denying that stuff, right? So DMRs, they're one small aspect of competitive Halo overall.
Absolutely.
You've got other elements like strategy, map positioning, map control, teamwork, power weapon control. These are all very important indicators of performance. You think of a player like Lunchbox, who's not as flashy. He's always kind of in the background, helping the team make the plays they need to. He's doing the dirty work, right?
Absolutely.
All of that is still very important, and yes, Summit, you recognize that.
Like I watch Lethal play, I watch Snakebite play. They'll fucking
there you go. They're amazing
on mouse and keyboard. Yeah, because their brain is just so huge,
Exactly. Here's big brain plays from Lethal where he's just threading the needle. And yes, with the sniper, you're pretty nasty mouse and keyboard with the sniper, but even with the DMR, this guy is nuts.
Oh my God, he's gross. Yo, tell me you saw this guy's clip. Tell me you saw Lethal's clip that he posted. I think it was yesterday.
Oh no, I don't know.
He doesn't show emotion when he plays, right? He'll hit insane stuff and his face will be the same, right? But he hits this shot yesterday and he says, "Oh my God, what the fuck?" or something like that. Okay, so exactly where he was shooting a guy under, so he's their rock shooting a guy under their turret with sniper. Okay. Misses a couple no scopes, then steps over, and those like little, like there's like a pillar and there's like a little like hole under the pillar. He just steps over and shoots at the hole and ricochets a bullet and headshots this guy. And I'm just like, what's
a bank shot? Oh my God.
Yeah. Bank shots it off the floor into a guy under turret from freaking their rock. It's unreal.
You know what I could do is, I know my producer's listening. If he goes to Lethal's Twitter page and somehow pulls it, brings it up later, maybe we'll watch it later and see. But that sounds like something Lethal will be able to pull off. And you're right, he doesn't react. His reaction, even to that last clip that was right on screen, he almost hits like a nair. And then his reaction is actually no when he loses the.
I choked it. I choked 8 kills. I choked the 9th kill.
Yeah, he's upset. That's what happens, man. You start to expect perfection.
Yeah, true. I mean, from that guy, it's expected, though.
Of course, yeah. So that's the thing is to recognize that there are other aspects of Halo. Other players who, Halo pros like Lethal can pick up mouse and keyboard. They're still deadly. They're still making things happen. On top of that, you can never disregard the skill it takes to be a master at controller. Like, yes, aim assist this game is a little bit stronger, but I think some people kind of it bothers them because there are people who put years and years and years into mastering the controller, and it takes.
But that's the thing. I agree with that, and I do agree that it takes an incredible amount of skill. And what's funny about that is I just think that the way aim assist was built was it's like Stone Age compared to what was expected out of players in Halo and what players have actually achieved in Halo.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The skill levels have exceeded expectations so much, but they're still on the same style of aim assist, right? Like it hasn't evolved with the skill level of players, in my opinion. Just a little bit, you know what I mean?
Okay, no, that's a fair point. One thing I was actually thinking that makes Halo different than your other games like Apex and PUBG or whatever is the fact that the way Halo works, there's no incentive to hit headshots. And Shroud mentioned this when Shroud had played it for the first time, he's like, man, I'm shooting them in the head, but I'm not getting any benefit. It's just doing the same shield damage. And he's right.
Okay.
If you shoot him in the toe or you shoot him in the head, you get the same shield damage. So maybe that kind of benefits your classic aim assist style control, because you can just whip for body until you break the shields, and then the headshot matters. Which makes me think, what do you think of like headshot damage modifiers on shield percent? It makes things more confusing, maybe, because Halo's kind of simple by nature and how it works.
I very much still like the Halo, the Halo shield knock with body shots versus the ending headshot. I think that's the core of Halo, and I don't think I want to change that. Because I'm going to give an example here. Splitgate. Splitgate is inconsistent in information, as in like I don't know. So it's like headshots multiply no matter at what point in the fight. You can 3-shot somebody in that game. And it's like you don't know how long or how much you can be peaking in a fight before you get destroyed in that game as easily as you can in Halo. You have more info. I've been shot this times. I've hit him this many times. The odds of me winning this fight are low. I have to back off to this location. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot harder to have that balance in a game that runs like Halo, but has the headshot, but has this similar like headshot multiplier on every shot like Splitgate does. I was noticing that it was just didn't feel consistent. And I didn't like it as much as Halo.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Just kind of having a complete understanding of how much more damage you can take when you're out in the open, right? And if it's different between head and body shot, you could get melted in a couple seconds, maybe, if it's all headshots. So
you just know exactly what to expect on Halo, right? You know what I mean?
Right. Good point. Right. So clearly, I think, and pros are saying, with the aim assist being strong, it seems like it would be possible for it to be tuned down a little bit, and that might be okay. So we're thinking, okay, what are the potential responses to this? How do we fix this? So from 343's perspective, it's kind of like the developer standpoint that we got to consider as well. Is just you could have the way that they built it is it's the same aim assist settings that had always existed since Halo PC, like Halo 1 and Halo 2. So I guess they just kind of they just brought over what was already there. So kind of understandable in that regard. If they change the aim assist, would it screw up everybody else who's not a pro, though? Right. So the pros might be like, okay, yeah, sure, we could deal with a little less aim assist, but all those casual players who are playing, how they are now, you switch it and then they're getting destroyed. And they're not. I mean,
I feel like everyone would take a notch down in skill gap no matter what, right? Even if a pro player is so fucking good at controller, if you bring down his skill level, ultimately, in my opinion, will come down no matter what, no matter if it's a small percentage or not. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's just if something like that did happen, the ranks would all just they would all just kind of subside. They would all everybody would settle into a different rank or a different skill level. They'd still be playing against themselves that are at the same skill level. You know what I mean?
Right. Things would find a way to balance out, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like when Counter-Strike was doing a lot of changes with their ranks, and people were complaining like, "Oh man, I'm losing rank. I don't know what's going on." Well, I mean, we're just we're in a new meta, and everything's settling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was also thinking alternatively, you have like a specific playlist, a pro playlist that's got modified settings like aim assist settings. I don't know how challenging that is to set up, but something where they test it and it doesn't bother anybody else. They can play their own competitive balanced version.
Yeah, I don't want to come off like I'm complaining about it. You know what I mean? Like I'm fully like willing to accept exactly. It is what it is. I understand it's a 10-year-old game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think when I put myself in your shoes and see it from your perspective, you're playing all these different games. You want to be super competitive and be able to play at a high level in those games. If you can't take on the 1v1, like that's arguably speaking, that is the most important battle in the game. Like if you can't handle that, that's just I would imagine it would be frustrating.
That's what I think. People hit me with responses like it's not a solo game, it's a team game. It's all about team shotting and stuff.
Right.
But there's so many situations where Hysteria will be left alive by himself with one guy, one shot, and another guy coming at him with full shields and flag down. And it's up to him to clutch up to be able to get a pull long haul on pit or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's like you have to be able to win those fights, and if you want to get some clutch situations. And there's so many of those clutch situations in Halo, especially at high level play. You know what I mean? Because it's all about the trades. It's all one guy gets traded here, another guy gets traded here. Maybe you get him in a spawn trap, but ultimately someone's gonna have to clutch up some fucking shots. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's we were talking about it right before the show, and you were saying Giggs was talking about it too. It just feels like every single shot on mouse and keyboard is a very involved process. You got to kind of work for each one of those 5 DMR shots. You can destroy people with 5 shots, but there's a lot. It's very involved, right? As opposed to like when you get really good with controller, the first couple shots, you don't have to be as kind of tuned in as you do with the last couple. So it almost kind of gives you that first edge, I find.
Yeah. when I watch controller players play, it feels like they just almost can just brush a kill off. Like, bam, there's a 5-tap.
It's not as big of a deal. Yeah, it's like it's something that's almost expected, right?
Yeah.
And when you think of what's entertaining on stream, like those types of 5-shot clutches are so important. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So okay. So the aim assist. There's also pros saying maybe return to 85% bloom. I don't know what you think of that. Kratos has a tweet about this, saying the game was designed for bloom. I know you were saying that it's just the sheer speed that players are shooting that's the issue.
So that was one of my complaints as well. Is it just feels like they can shoot you faster. Like I know that it's not like I can click my mouse just as quick, but it's like their crosshair is more, it just feels like it traces that much easier, that they're able to accurately hit quicker shots. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, I feel like PC players maybe have to slow it down like minuscule of seconds, but that's everything. You know what I mean? Like that's I mean that's a possibility. Like I said though, like that's a big change, you know what I mean? And people will be pissed about that.
You might fix one problem with another problem, basically, with the randomness that comes from increasing.
You increase RNG without a doubt.
Exactly. Yeah. So you don't want that either. But I definitely think rate of fire is an important thing to consider. These are all things that 343, they'll work on them and hopefully fix them by the time Infinite comes out. That's the important thing, of course. Whether it's slowing aim assist or having a slower rate of fire, which makes me think maybe there are other games in MCC that'll be a lot better for this. Like you think of H2, H3, you're shooting a BR. You got a 4-shot kill. It's a burst rifle. The shots work differently. You got Halo 3 as projectile aim.
I would say it's probably going to be, I don't know. I can't really like picture it, but just thinking about it, it feels like there definitely would be more time in between shots than a DMR and a battle rifle, right? Like
definitely.
So there's definitely more time to hit some whippity whips in between. So yeah, maybe it would favor mouse and keyboard a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Hey guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Just note that this was only one part of a full 1-hour discussion I had with Summit last week on HCS Weekly. We also talked about his Halo origin story. We talked about what else he wants to see at MCC, and we put together a bit of a wish list for Halo Infinite. So a lot of really cool stuff we discussed. If you guys want to see more of that, check the description. I've got links to UGC's YouTube channel. That's where all the episodes for HCS Weekly are posted. If you guys like this channel, you like the content that I put out, make sure to hit subscribe right above, and you can see similar videos to my right beside me for you to check out. Until then, I'll see you next time.